Day one of quarantine. I've decided to set up this video podcast to record my experience in quarantine here in Vienna, Austria, as I tried to develop this period, who knows how long it will be, a week to many more perhaps, into a productive, happy, healthy time of my life, making the best of what is not a great situation, what is impacting thousands of people and their families around the world, but for those of us lucky enough to be able to stay at home and not have to go in to a workplace to be susceptible to the disease, we still have to find a way to live during this period and not just survive, but to live our lives as we want them to be. And so I'm hoping that we can build a bit of a community. Myself and whoever viewers end up looking at this video podcast in order to support each other through the comments section, otherwise through emails, through incorporating some of the ideas others might come up with in the video podcast, any way possible so that we can have more fulfilling lives during our time in quarantine, stuck in our own homes, wherever people may be. So our video podcasts so far will have four main components. We'll start with goals, so goal setting and keeping track of those goals during our quarantine periods. We'll then have a top 10 of the day in terms of top 10 things that we can do while in quarantine. And at the end of the week, we'll hopefully have a vote on the preceding 6 days' top 10s in order to come up with the top 10 for the week, which will utilize those earlier ideas. We'll then have a deep dive that will get a bit more into a particular subject matter of interest where I feel that I have some knowledge or background that I can share and hopefully others can benefit from. And last, a segment on physical health. This week's will be a half-hour yoga session for those who are new to yoga practice, which will allow whoever's new to it to be able to do a bit of stretching, center themselves, start off with something easy, and then from there, as of tomorrow, we'll start building in some strength training and just give people a few ideas of things they could be doing while at home, while stuck inside a small space, but can still have a healthy, happy, fulfilling life. So two main parts, this segment for the first three, and then the fourth part, today's yoga or physical health, will take place a little bit separately after the other three. So either watch all or skip out the physical side if you already feel you're in perfect physical health. Up to you, of course. So primary topic, now that I've done a long-winded introduction, is goal setting. I think it is important while, at least for myself, while I'm in quarantine, to have some steady goals that I can lead some progress on, so that I feel at the end of this time that I've utilized my time productively and that I haven't just squandered it by the end of the quarantine period as like a gap in my CV or my life or whatever it may be. So, and I'm somebody who sets goals all the time. Sometimes I'm very good at keeping them, sometimes I'm not. I followed a bunch of different thought processes. I've read up a lot on goal setting in my leadership practice, in which I have a graduate certificate. Goal setting is a big part of that. It's a big part of making sure that your life is planned so that you can actually reap the benefits that you're looking for, so that you can make steady progress, and so that eventually you can have the life that you want to lead. It is important to bring things down to the basic, to make sure these goals are smart, that to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. Basically, it means that these goals aren't just set haphazardly, that they have a particular plan you're going to follow, that you can see from the start to the end any progress you've made, that they are not far out of reach, but are actually things that you can attain in a specific time frame, that they are relevant to yourself, that they're not way out in left field, but somehow are related to the life that you lead, and of course that they're time-based. So you're not setting a goal like, one day I want to be. No, you say exactly a specific time. By this time, I want to have achieved X. And that will allow you to actually determine if you've made the progress on that or not, and allow you to also see day by day how you're making progress on that. So for myself, I've set a few goals during this time in quarantine. The main one is that I wanted to set up this video podcast. This is a general idea that I've had for quite a few years, that I wanted to try to take some of the ideas. I spent a lot of my time learning. I've studied formal education. I've continued learning in my career. Outside of that, I'd like to listen to TED Talks and lectures and follow up on my studies and do lots of reading. And so I feel that I have a wealth of knowledge and want to try to share some of that back with any viewers who might be able to benefit from that, to be able to organize and their own lives essentially in such a way that they're happier, healthier, more productive. So for the podcast, what my current plan is that I want to take it for a week, see how it goes. I want to have around 45-minute to 1 hour video podcasts each day of that week. And by the end of it, I would like to have had 10 viewers per video podcast. That's my main goal during this time. It takes a lot of time out of my schedule in order to come up with the ideas, to ensure that my facts are correct, to write down some notes so that I'm able to provide something in somewhat a smooth sequence, and then upload the videos, produce the videos, cut, paste, do that kind of thing, so that hopefully at the other end of things, it's a viewable product at the end. So that's my main one, but I also want to have a healthier relationship by the end of things with my girlfriend, who I'm sharing the apartment with. When two people are in such a confined space, it's easy to come up with brand new arguments about things that you didn't even know were issues before, and I don't want that to happen between us. Instead, I'd actually rather us become happier and healthier in terms of relationship, so that we're better able to discuss things and communicate. And I also want to become healthier than I currently am. My diet fluctuates between eating too much sugar, too much fat, drinking too much, to being more balanced. And during the period that I'm in quarantine, I want to get healthier, both in terms of my diet, but also especially in terms of my physical abilities. It is, mid-March, the seasons are changing quite quickly here in Vienna, and I want to be able to start the climbing season and cycling season strong. So I'm hoping that you can help me with my goals. You can keep me on track, but that I can also help you with yours. In order to do so, please leave in the comments below anything that you might be working on, and then we can start the conversation on how we might be able to help each other, and how other viewers, if there are any, can maybe help you out as well. These are the goals, of course, during the quarantine, and in the future episodes I'll share more about my other goals outside of this, and also some of the theories and practices that you could use in order to be able to better achieve your goals. So second segment was supposed to be a top 10 things that you can do while stuck in your own home, while on quarantine. First one is to catch up with people who you might not remain in constant contact with, especially for myself, who's living outside of my home country and who's moved around quite a bit in my life. I have many friends. I have my family. None of them, except for my girlfriend and a couple friends I've now made here in Vienna, are anywhere near me. And I've realized already with a few visitors who came recently through town that I have to do a much better job at keeping in touch with the people who I love, who I care about, but don't happen to be in the same room as me. Especially during a period of quarantine when you might not be able to see people you regularly do, it's quite important to maintain those relationships. So for catching up with people past who you might have, it could be getting a stack of postcards and just starting to write them out, buying some stamps at the post office if it's still open, or just writing postcards now and sending them later. But just, go back to that old form of communication. People love a postcard way more than a text message. If you don't want to do that, of course, a text message is fantastic for most of the people in your lives. Send them just a little ditty, letting them know that you're thinking of them, asking how they're doing during this time, etc. Maybe make a list of all the people who you've come out of touch with that you'd like to reconnect. Maybe people from further back in your lives, from high school or something like that, or people more recently that you just feel that you haven't made as deep a connection as you would like, or that you'd like to rekindle some kind of relationship. And just get on it. Make a list. Start to decide the people you want to get in touch with, the medium you want to get in touch with them, and go at her. Number 2, cooking. So one wonderful thing of most of us where we live is that we have a kitchen available, and that we hopefully have some food in the pantry, and that we can catch up on some healthy cooking that we might not usually have time for. This could mean just cooking nicer meals for you, your family, whoever's with you, but also perhaps making some things for the future, for when the quarantine ends, to just make life easier when you become very busy afterwards. Of course, there'll be a lot of catching up to do. And it could also be going a step further and developing some cooking skills, reading some recipes, watching some cooking videos, looking through your cookbook that's collecting dust on the shelf, and just trying out a few new things. It could also be trying out some marinating recipes, like marinating some steaks overnight, or taking the time to really make some solid meals, not just throwing something in the oven in order to eat a quick meal. You got lots of time now. You have no more excuses. It could also mean preserving things for future use. If you happen to have a store of some kind of fresh fruit or vegetable that you want to pickle, or make into a jam, or make pesto, or sausages, there's any number of things you could do that take a lot of prep work, which you happen to have the time for now, that will reap its benefits in the future when you can taste your delicious homemade goodies. Third is, back to the main topic that we already discussed, is goals and planning. So it is 2.5 months since most of us would have made some type of New Year's resolution, and a very good time to try to A, just remember what it was, and B, try to get back on track. We'll be discussing this more in future episodes, so I won't go into great depth here, but just to look at what goals you'd like to set for the week, and how you're doing on whatever goals you might have had previous to this time, and how you can catch up on those. And then relatedly is setting up a new practice, whether that's meditating in the morning, quitting smoking, having a solid exercise regime, eating healthier, talking more with your loved ones, whatever it might be. It's a good time to choose one practice, just one at a time, make it part of your daily habit, and so that at the end of the quarantine, it sticks into your routine, and it's something that you can follow in the future, that you can keep and maintain a strong practice of. Fifth on the list is music. There's been some good stories here in Vienna about people getting out on the balconies in a small neighborhood and playing their live instruments to their neighbors, and a few people getting together and playing together from the terraces, from the patios, and just enjoying the music that we're able to, because our ears are all working perfectly fine. Or it could be just listening to some music. If you enjoy music but usually just do it while doing something else, so just sit down for a half an hour and actually listen to your favorite album, and let the music make you feel great. Or it could be learning music. It's a great time to pick up that guitar that's somewhere hidden in the back of the closet, and strum it a bit, and learn some tabs, and develop your skills further, or tune your piano and play a little bit of that, whatever it might be. Enjoy the music. The digital copy these days, it's easy to get whatever music you want at the touch of your fingers. 6, and relatedly, is learning. So whether it be learning a musical instrument, or singing, or musical theory, or something entirely outside of that subject matter. For myself, it's language learning. I'm currently trying to learn German, as it helps me here in my new home country. And just going on Duolingo or going online, figure out something that you've always wanted to learn and learn it. Now's the time. Now's the perfect time. What you need is quiet, an internet connection, and lots of time. That's what we have. So I encourage you to get out there and pick one of those things that you've always wanted to learn and take the time now to actually do so. 7, maybe a little less fun, but getting up to date on your finances. It's tax season for most of us, and it'd be a great time to look at your previous income and anything that could be used as deductibles on your taxes, and getting that together a little bit early, being ahead of the ball, ahead of the curve, and just making sure that you're ready and that everything is submitted on time. Why not use this time, maybe learn a little bit more about the tax rules in your own country so that you're better able to make the most savings that you can. And also investing. It's a great time to look at what has been successful for you in terms of investing over the previous years. If you don't do any investing, then to learn a bit about it. There's plenty of videos available, books available that teach you a ton about investing. Poor Dad, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, is a great book that I've read. Millionaire Next Door is another one that will teach you the basics about investing and getting into something so that you're not just earning the dollars from your salary, but also future income over those dollars through saving, investing, and then earning dividends or increases or interest or however it is that you decide to invest. 8 is getting ready for spring. Here in Vienna, already some of the flowers are popping up. Spring's very much upon us. Where you might live, you might not have the same seasons, but otherwise it could be winter and not yet ready for spring, but it's still ready to prepare for it. It's still time to prepare for it. You can plant seedlings, you can repot your plants indoors. This is something I plan on doing tomorrow, is taking out the plants, loosening up the roots, adding some soil, this kind of thing. Maybe I'll do a deep dive on that tomorrow. And just getting ready so that you can enjoy the springtime when it comes, and when you're able to spend more time outdoors, that you have the vegetables or the flowers or whatever it is that makes you happy in terms of your green thumb. 9 would be to plan a date. If you have a wife or a husband or lover at home with you or a family, just plan a date for whoever your household is, and that you actually set aside an evening or a few hours time, watch a movie together, make a nice meal, play some board games, do something like that, and make it a somewhat regular occurrence during your quarantine, so that you have something to look forward to the rest of the day or the rest of the week, and that you still maintain a semblance of a schedule in your day, so that it's not just you wake up and it passes in a blur, but you actually have like specific times where you decide ahead of time, this is going to be used for fun, this is going to be used for work, and this is a time that we're going to get together and enjoy the company of the people that you have around you. If you happen to be living entirely on your own, then make it a Skype date with somebody, with an old friend, with family, whoever it is. Plan it ahead of time and spend some quality time with those who you love. And last, for today, is kind of boring as well, maybe, but is organizing. This is going to be our deep dive today, but it's cleaning and organizing your life so that you can better live more efficiently. So our deep dive, segment number 3, is on cleaning/organizing your home life. Essentially, your home is in large part your lives. It doesn't matter how much time you spend at home in terms of your homebody, or if you're more of an extrovert, you like to get out, home still provides a core for the rest of your life to be centered around. In my case, I prefer to be out as much as possible, but home is still where I eat my meals, sleep most nights, and where I store my things that help me get out and enjoy things in the outdoors or sports, wear my suits for work, this kind of thing. And if it's easier for you to have the things that you need when you need them, that they're in good condition, that they're ready to be used, it makes the rest of life a lot easier. Now, well, to use a good imagery of that, it's sharpening the saw. So the woodcutter goes out every day to cut down the trees, and it's getting harder and harder, but he feels he doesn't have time to stop and sharpen his saw. His colleague decides that every third day, no matter how busy he is, he takes half an hour, sharpens his saw. just to make sure it's in the best working condition so that it can saw down those trees faster. Which one of those two do you think will be able to cut more trees in a given week? Definitely the guy who takes the time, refocuses from his main occupation, and ensures that his skills are up to date, ensures that his bike is oiled or his tools are sharpened, whatever it might be, that your stuff is organized so you're better able to use it. This also allows you to waste less time. If you have to, every time you want to go for a run, you have to dig through your closet, find your running shoes, go through the laundry, find some clean socks, look somewhere for a clean t-shirt, do the smell test, make sure that you have something to wear. It's going to make going for a run a whole lot more difficult. But if those running shoes are ready, on the shelf, with the laces in them, they're not worn out, they're clean, the socks beside them, it's way easier for you to just grab them, put them on your feet, and go. Here in Vienna, we are under quarantine, but we are allowed to go outside, so I plan on doing a few runs this week. I prefer cycling, but I'm making sure all my bikes are in order so that for the months ahead, it's a simple idea of just grabbing a bike, getting outside, and going for a ride. Similar to the running shoes, it's important to organize your life so that the things you want to multiply and to focus on are those that are the most easiest for you to gain access to. So if your goal in life is to watch as much TV as possible, for instance, you should have a TV in your kitchen, a TV in your living room, make sure it's the focus of your attention so that you're easily able to turn on the TV and spend your time watching the television as much as possible. That's not my goal, so my TV is hidden away in the second bedroom. It's not even plugged in properly, and it's not a main part of my life. Instead, the dining room table, my dog nearby, I don't really organize where my girlfriend is, but having her nearby, these are the things that make me happy and that I want to spend more time on. And so they're the things that are close at hand. Similarly, I have 2 jackets in the front hall, the ones that I need the most. The other ones are tucked away. I have my suits in the closet in one place, my play clothes in another, so that when I think, oh, playtime, I go there, I grab what I need, I'm out. No, rifling through a sock drawer to find a matching sock, but everything's laid out and organized so that I can easily grab what I need. Similarly, I now have my fruit bowl on the counter in the center of the kitchen so that when I want a snack, it's not a matter of opening the cupboard, looking for some chips, grabbing what looks most tasty to me, but the fruit are right in my face, so it's like, oh, well, I should just grab a pear then. And it makes it a lot easier to just instill that habit by organizing my life around what I want to achieve. I encourage you to just start thinking through these things. We'll talk about the tiny habits tomorrow, but where you can make some changes in your household to make changes in your life. Similar to this idea would be having a clean kitchen. I find it very frustrating when I want to cook a nice meal, but first I have to do some dishes. I have to clean the counter. The stove might be dirty, and then you just lose all motivation to actually get in there and make a great meal. So you should always, I think, as a matter of practice, clean up perfectly each time. So the next time you have a nice, beautiful workspace and it motivates you to want to use that, to want to open up the fridge, grab some fresh fruit or vegetables, start cutting them up, mix them with some meat, make a great stir fry, do whatever it is that you like to do, but to have the workspace available to do it. So I encourage you to clean, organize your kitchen now when you have the time. And then going back to that cooking idea from our top 10 is maybe learning to do some cooking while you're in there. And to organize your house so that it's best set up for learning, so that if you learn on your computer, close the automatic login into Facebook or YouTube or whatever it is so that you can actually get to the learning. Make yourself a timer so that you first have to spend 5 minutes, say, on a learning endeavor before you're allowed to surf the internet and look at the latest news on coronavirus. And also maybe post some Post-its around the house to remind you of the things you want to learn. I have a Post-it by the breakfast table that reminds me that each day over breakfast I'm supposed to spend 10 minutes on Duolingo. It's just that little reminder that's there to be like, oh, no, breakfast time is learning time, or whatever time of the day you set aside for learning, whatever space you set aside for learning is used for that on a regular basis. 3 days following something as a habit, 1 day missing it, I think it's like 50% less likely to follow the habit. 2 days missing it, you're 80% less likely, so you may as well give up. But if you do things day by day by day, if you have those reminders there, you're much more likely to follow the habit that allows you to learn in the long run what it is that you're looking to achieve, looking to learn. Finally, as an extra tidbit of advice in cleaning and organizing your life, luckily we managed to get a large bottle of hand sanitizer, and it's right by our front door. So the first thing we do when we come inside, take off our gloves if it's cold out in the proper manner. Please watch a video on that if you don't know it, so that you don't actually touch the outside of the gloves yourself. Put them away, clean the hands with hand sanitizer immediately so you don't bring germs from the outside into the house. I think there's no point in quarantining yourself if you're going to bring any of the nasty germs in with you. So if you do have hand sanitizer available, put it in your purse. If you don't, or by the front door. And if you don't, wash your hands. I mean, just have your bathroom door, the closest one available, open, and make it a habit. First thing you do, first thing your roommates or your partner or your kids do when they come inside is they wash their hands properly with soap, with warm water, 20-30 seconds, and make sure they don't bring corona into your household. So that's it for the first 3 segments with me today. I encourage you to watch the next segment on beginner yoga if that's something that you're into. Either way, I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, and hopefully this has helped you be healthy, happy, and productive during quarantine. Thank you.